YouTube. And YouTube should go live here shortly. There we go. Excellent connection. Love to see it. I'm going to move this camera slightly. Oop, I am huge. I'm going to show out the fact that I'm wearing a Doctor Who sweater. And hopefully we are live. We should have subtitles. You don't hear me on Twitch. Okay. You don't hear me on Twitch. I'm seeing the little thing go up and down. It's green. Why? Why have you betrayed me, Twitch? Oh, okay. Oh, is you? Okay. Have you tried unmuting yourself? Okay, cool. All right. Excellent. Excellent. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be having a little bit of a mood as I deal with whatever is going on in 16 different places. Okay, close that. YouTube is up and running and slightly delayed. It's fine. Captions should be going. Stream audio track. Okay, so hi, what are we doing here? Welcome to Christmas, December. December is the holiday time, and as we all know, the holidays for nerds are associated with one and only thing. That's right, Doctor Who Christmas specials. Wait, no, that's probably just me and some other people and nerds and things like that. And actually, the last couple of years, they've actually been New Year specials, but they're back to Christmas specials this year, and it is the 65th anniversary of Doctor Who. So, in honor of basically the timing of all of that, we are going to be playing a Doctor Who adventure. This is a Doctor Who adventure that we talked about planning out Doctor Who adventures in Lore Link, which is the stuff you see directly beneath me. Last week, when we were basically, if you want to catch this, basically our streams are all on YouTube, and you can catch us playing out that game there. As such, basically, we are going to go ahead and jump in since we are running behind and my player's times is valuable. I'm going to 20 is going to throw something out the window. Probably Streamlabs bot. And I basically, before they start swearing up too much of a storm, I'm going to go ahead and open it up. So we're playing Doctor Who. For those who are not familiar with Doctor Who, we basically Doctor Who is the adventures of the Doctor. That is their full and proper name, who is a time-traveling Time Lord that goes around the galaxy, has fallen in love with humanity, and basically occasionally stops into planet Earth, picks up a bunch of different people from various different timelines and time space, basically space-time places, and brings them all over the galaxy and shows them wondrous and beautiful things. Usually ends up in some disaster or another and ends up solving the crisis, usually relatively peacefully. They are not a big guns and armed weapons type person. The other big thing about the Doctor is the fact that they will, because of the fact that basically in the late 60s, when the actor who was playing the Doctor decided they were going to stop playing the Doctor, and the people running the show decided they had a good thing going and didn't want to actually stop it at that point, they approached a different actor to take over the role of the Doctor and made up an excuse for why the Doctor would, in fact, regenerate and turn into a completely different person, usually containing the memories and other things of the Doctor. And thus they've continued on for the last 65 years with many different people stepping in as companions and many different people stepping in as the Doctor. So all that to say, let me introduce our players. Go ahead and we will start with Luna.
All right, hi everybody. My name is Luna, and I'm going to be playing Charlie Bluth, who is a 19th century music hall star.
Tony?
Okay, first off, I'd like to say it's the 60th, not the 65th.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Fake nerd. throw my license out the window.
All right. And hey everyone, I am Tony. In this game, I will be playing Chamberlain 2165. I will be your hospitality android this evening.
20?
Hello, my name's 20. My pronouns are she, her. Today I am playing Aiden Duke, who is an augmented human investigator, whose pronouns are they, them.
Martine.
Hi, I am playing Trickus Lestek. I am a scientist, and I know very little about Doctor Who, so sorry if I blunder.
You'll be fine. And the opposite end of that spectrum, Ben.
Hey, I'm Ben. I'll be playing Sam Edlund, a 21st century IT guy. So, big stretch there for me.
All right. So, we will basically to do a little bit of basically to get the players up to speed and anyone watching up to speed as well. How Doctor Who, basically in particular second edition, works is all of your skill checks are done by rolling 2 dice, 2d6 in this case, d6s. Hi, hello Phoebe, glad to have you here as anyone watching. Is basically you roll 2d6, you will add the, basically if it is a skill, you'll add the stat and the skill. If it is just a stat roll, you'll roll just the stat, and you or just add just the stat. So it'll be 2d6 plus whatever that number is. So if it's stat plus skill, it may be something like 5 or 6. If it's just the stat, it's likely 2 or 3, maybe 4. And you're going to try to hit a target number. The average range of difficulty for a difficult task, basically for a normal task, ranges around 8 or so. Basically 2d6, your average is 7, so rolling an 8 shouldn't be too hard. I say that knowing full well that basically whenever you get gamers into a room and you start rolling dice, averages go out the window. But that is how the system is supposed to work. So basically, if you're doing something well, you will roll with advantage, which means you will roll 3d6, and you will keep the highest 2. If you are doing something which is dangerous or tricky, or you're some other way disadvantaged, you will roll 3d6 and keep the lowest 2. For our players, that is what that skill check button will allow you to do. If you click the skill check button, it'll ask you for a modifier. That'll be the total of your either just the stat or the stat plus the skill, or attribute, not stat. Attribute and skill. You add them together, put that number in there, and then it'll ask if you want to roll normal, advantage, or basically advantage or disadvantage, and then it will take care of dealing all of the basically taking the highest, keeping the lowest, etc., etc. The only other rule you need to know in terms of dice is 6s can turn, basically 6s are good results. So if any of your dice show a 6 that you are keeping, they are basically the result will end up being net positive. Even if it's a failure, it'll end up generally being a no. Basically they use the system they use is kind of using improv terminology to use no but. So no, you don't get to do that, but something good happens. If you roll a 6 on and it is a success, it is yes and. Same, and the opposites apply. Basically, there is a 1. So if you roll a success, but there's a 1 in the roll and not a 6, it becomes a yes but. If you roll a failure and there's a 1 and there's 6, it becomes a no and things get worse. So that is generally how that works. In terms, basically, just as a brief note for the characters, you do have character sheets which are attached to your characters if you're in the character menu. However, those are character sheets from the first edition. So they have one slight problem, as it were, and that is the fact that if you look at the character sheet and you look at your character sheet that you got handed to the PDF version, you'll notice there are 3 skills which don't fit in. There's fighting and marksmanship on the skills list. Those got combined in second edition into just an average skill of conflict, which is anything to do with fighting, firing a gun, punching somebody, whatever. All of that goes into your conflict score. And then there is an insight score which got added in. So for the purposes of your character sheet, if you're looking at the character sheet in Roll20 and not the PDF, your fighting skill is equal to what your conflict skill would have been, and your marksman skill is what your insight skill actually is. Somewhat confusing. up to you how you want to handle it. You can actually click on the dice next to the names in the character sheet, and it will do a normal roll for you. It does not allow you to do advantage and disadvantage. So the skill check button is there, but you have to put in the modifier, and clicking on the character sheet works, but it only works for normal rolls. Somewhat an awkward situation, but hopefully, given how relatively simple the rules are, it should be straightforward. The only other thing you need to know of in terms of rules is everybody has story points. What these are is basically, this is meant to be an epic adventure, which basically is based on a TV show where generally the heroes prevail at the end of the episode. And so, kind of reflecting that, there's still drama, there's still conflict, there's still drama, and things like that. But there's a lot of times things will happen which will be to the advantage of the players. And that means the fact that you have story points, and what those story points let you do is say, oh, I think that this should be in the scene, or I feel that there should be basically an X or a Y should happen, or I should be able to avoid this or that because of this or that. And depending on how epic a change you are making will determine how many story points you spend. On the general scale of things, 11 story points means the fact that you are doing something which is epically changing the entire universe. I think they give the example they give for that is basically if you're familiar with the show, think Bad Wolf, which is essentially a character doing something so significant that it echoes backwards through time and has been being set up all along. Just to keep it going. A one skill point thing is like, oh, I need a wrench, and there happens to be a wrench in this shop. Relatively minor, but basically takes care of that. Basically, little things like that. It can also be given to give you advantages, things like that. And some characters have distinctions on your character sheet which require the use of them. I don't think anyone in this group does. If it does, it will be noted on your character sheet. Basically, if you're familiar with Pathfinder, think hero. Anything a hero point can do, this can do as well. So you can bump things up in terms of success, or you can reroll things, etc., etc. So, all that to say, let's go ahead and get started. So, where we find this adventure is that the five of you are all companions of the Doctor. In this case, for those who are familiar, we are going to go with and say that this is the 13th Doctor. This is basically the Doctor, basically in a female presenting incarnation. They have blonde hair, a long pale coat, blue shirt with a rainbow stripe on it. For those who may or may not familiar with it, is generally quite happy, bubbly, excited. Isn't basically the Doctor in general is like that. And basically is generally just having a great time. And so what has been happening, is the fact that when you wake up, you guys have the Doctor has taken you on many adventures. And when you wake up this time, you keep finding this advert in various places you don't expect it. Like you come to you walk, you wake up, and suddenly there's this advert for this giant sale. It says, "Come to the Gigaplex sale, this Giga Complex sale on now." Sam and Aiden, you're used to seeing these kinds of ads, things like that. Aiden, this is your usual. To you, you're familiar. You're a little bit more futuristic. You're used to these kind of great big holographic flashing adverts. You would expect it that the TARDIS, being a high-tech vehicle, time travel vehicle, would be able to filter these things out, but this seems to be getting past that. Somehow, seems to be getting around that. It's popping up, and a jingle starts. You all be kind of standing around in the TARDIS main council room, and the sound, suddenly this kind of jingling sound will go off. They're like, "Come to the Gigaplex, everything must go." And it's the adverts actually start as they're going on, they're getting more and more kind of distressing a little bit. Like you're sensing that it seems a little off. Like is that voice that's singing that jingle seems a little too strained? Is that everything must go basically a sales pitch, or is that a threat? It's hard to tell, and basically each of you will kind of confront the doctor, and she'll be like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It must be something just basically something must be wrong with the filters. I'll just have to take it out." But it is a great idea. Basically, I think it'll be excellent. I think it'll be a wonderful idea. Basically, I need to do some work on the TARDIS and the Giga Complex. Obviously, it's the holiday seasons for you guys. Basically, we drop you guys off. You guys can. Oh, Christmas. Christmas is a thing that just got where humans basically tend to gather together, and they tend to basically throw gifts at each other and explode things. They have like little things that they explode. I bet they're called crackers, but they're not actually edible. Don't trust me. I tried. Terrible. Don't eat them. And it's going to do lots of things, lots of food, and other things, and trees. They throw things on trees, and then they get things from other people, and they wrap them. It's great fun. It's exciting, and it's kind of spread all over this. As humanity spread all over the galaxy, they've taken it with them everywhere, and it's kind of, well, the capitalistic aspect of it has kind of taken over everything, and so it's probably no surprising that something as big as the Giga Complex probably has a really big sale basically based around that, and so. It's just appropriate. Just appropriate. I drop you guys off, and I've got some work to do on the TARDIS, so it'll be the perfect time. I'm just gonna, you guys can get out. It's incredibly safe. You don't have to worry about a thing. Basically, the entire place is locked down. No weapons can fire anywhere in the complex. It's incredibly safe. Probably the safest place you could be outside of this TARDIS most of the time. I mean, the TARDIS is less safe most of the time. The Giga Complex is always safe. Haven't had a problem. They've been shopping there all the time. Got some great stuff. I mean, picked up some wonderful things for the kitchen, like that thing over there that she gestures basically vaguely to a device which you have never seen used ever. I picked it up. It was on sale. I had to get it. Basically, they told me I had to get it. It was on sale. I don't know what it does or what it should do or anything like that, but it's probably incredibly useful. And it was on sale, so otherwise, you got to pick up something like that. So, in any case, you will find yourself, basically, the doctor, basically will throw the levers, basically, console will go up and down, the familiar vorping sounds, that if I wasn't afraid of the BBC's copyright police, I would play on stream. Probably could get away with sound effects, but it's one of those where if I start playing those, I'll start to play theme songs and things like that, and that just gets messy. So you all get, and basically you end up getting basically not exactly booted off. But basically she very definitely kind of rushes you all to the basically kind of rushes you all. Basically, it's like you need to get going. Basically, take care of it. Don't worry about it. Basically, you all have she hands you some credit, basically some plastic things. She's like, these should still work, I think. I mean, the thing that kind of accounts. I mean, the problem with the problem being a time traveler is you're never exactly quite sure what state your finances are in at any given point when you come in. So it's probably okay. Those probably have credit on them. But basically, if they start making noises and basically start destroying the credit chip, and basically you might want to just let them and just back off. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I'm fairly certain she tapped something basically to kind of basically the date on it changes a couple of times. She's like, I think this is a relatively safe time period. Maybe a little off target. Taps it again. Not quite sure why she took us here. Basically kind of slaps the side of basically the display. But we're here now. This looks like a good time, as good as time as any. So basically stepping out, basically she opens the door and you step outside basically, and you are basically, you can see the fact that this is in fact the largest department store you have ever seen. It is basically huge amounts of shops, and basically it's like the hollowed out inside of a moon that they have converted into a giant shopping center. And you are in the docking area, and basically spires basically rise all over the place. Basically all of them festooned with deals or basically offerings, and the basically various the translation. Basically, you're getting things translated for you by the TARDIS, and you can see various celebrations of different things and things which kind of almost look like what they might have been a Santa at one point, if taken through a blender and basically given lots of tentacles and arms and eyes. I mean, but it's wearing red and it looks happy and jolly, and it's advertising buy now, so it's probably fine, probably safe. And so you go through basically. I mean, yeah, basically the tentacles are kind of how they do docking and things like that. So there are docking tentacles just kind of hanging out, basically slapping on the ships and basically providing transport down. Aiden, you can go ahead and give me probably Aiden's and Chamberlain. Both of you can give me a awareness transport roll. And basically, as you look around and you see all the other ships docking, go ahead and give me, basically, this is minorly difficult. This is difficult. We'll put this at difficulty 12.
So this is the skill check button plus the stat for
skill plus
value
stat
for awareness.
So, yeah, awareness plus transport.
I think I screwed it up.
Well, that's great. Is that not working now suddenly? Did you?
I messed it up. I think I deleted something.
No, it didn't work for me either. This is a normal roll, so you can use the skill sheet while I quickly figure that out.
Okay, so I did that without adding anything to it, so that would be, what, that plus awareness and transport would be 15?
Yes. So 15, okay. And then go ahead and...
Oh my god. +4 is 6.
Okay, so you are just stunned, Aiden,
Wow.
by basically everything that you see. Basically, there are just too many. Basically, it's almost too much. Basically, somebody actually has to grab you and keep you from walking off the edge. As you're just staring around at all of the different ships and things like that. Your background as a bounty hunter, you're kind of looking at, you're kind of picking out, and you're like, is that? Oh, it's basically that the great galactic warlord. I mean, the bounty on his head is ridiculous. It is not the. Oh, basically, I think that's a. I don't know what that is, but wow! And you're looking at this. You're just engrossed by all this stuff. Basically, Chamberlain, you will note the fact that when you're looking around, you will note the fact that not all the ships are like merchant ships or passenger ships. Some of them are very definitely like military type ships. There's an ice warrior attack ship, which are basically Martian warriors. The spherical Sontaran battle cruisers, who are the Sontarans, who are an incredibly warlike species and generally wouldn't be caught in a shopping mall. And the writhing chitinous Kriltane bioships are also there, and the Kriltane are a ship-shifting race, basically kind of gene stealer type race, and they're definitely not the type that would show up or be allowed into a mall for that matter. So you will spot all of that, but you don't have too much time to dwell on that. As suddenly basically you can hear basically like there's you get a basically a little popping holographic basically voice kind of booms into the TARDIS. Greetings, shoppers! I am Hynax, your AI guide to the best shopping experience in the universe. Stand by for docking coordinates and please remember that any violence in the Giga Complex is strictly forbidden. Any detected weapons discharge will result in the weapon being confiscated and redirected by our returns department. Thank you and have a happy holiday shopping experience. And the voice will repeat, the message will repeat a couple of different times in various different languages. And then you'll be getting a greetings. Would you like to be transmitted? Congratulations on making it to the Giga Complex. Would you like to be transported to the surface now? Assuming nobody objects, the doctor goes, go, go, go. Basically, I'll take, keep it up here. Everything will be fine. I'll just take care of a couple of these things. And basically, she's got a wrench already out and basically got her goggles down and is already starting to basically pry out the undersides of a panel. Like, don't worry about it. Just head down, have a good time shopping. It's perfectly safe, perfectly safe. Should be fine. Think. Yeah, should be fine. Assuming you accept transportation, there will be basically a fizzing sensation and a brief snatch of music, which is both incredibly catchy and incredibly bland and tepid. And basically as if it was crafted by someone to be a perfect earworm, but 100% non-offensive to any known species in the entire galaxy.
Music.
It is Muzak, basically, it is Muzak as if crafted by an AI given 1,000 years. And basically, you end up you end up finding yourself into a vast crystal plaza. It's kilometers across. You can see all around you is the inside of the moon. With all of its various structures and things like that, and there are ads everywhere. Everybody go ahead and give me a awareness plus insight roll. Normal. Yeah, for some reason it's decided to not work.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
All right, let me look at so it's D6,
Oh, that's
right?
why.
And so it's just D6s and then you add awareness and insight.
Yep. I know why it's malfunctioning.
It would insight. Where would I find that on the sheet?
I think that's intuition on the PDF sheet.
Sorry, intuition. Yes, it's intuition, and it is marked as marksmanship on your character sheet that is attached, basically the in-game character sheet.
So if I have a 4 in awareness and a 2 in marksmanship, I roll 2d6 and add 6.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. I know what the problem is. Basically, I have to look up what the... Okay, 16, 13, 8, 8. Sam, you are just stunned by the sheer amount of technology. Like, there's like a retro store, and it has stuff that ranges from like the most top of the line stuff that you have seen. It's just all on display. It's like basically consider your traditional like retro type shop where they're like, oh yeah, we've got all this classic stuff, and it's like advertising supercomputers and basically racks and racks of like the latest tech, gaming laptops and things like that are all on display there. And so you are enraptured by that. Aiden, basically now that you're down on the surface, both Aiden and Tricketh, basically, you will note the fact that as you are constantly besieged by these ads, and they're just like all over the place. But basically, as you kind of look at all of them, you start to notice the fact that, like basically, like it's all of these happy. It is your typical, basically happy alien families in basically in doing various different activities and things like that. Like come to our outdoor apartment. And it'll have this happy group, which are obviously like basically camping in this cave in basically in some far remote section of the galaxy and things like that, or see the stars from basically burning off the edge of Orion, and basically all of these different groups and things like that. But you're looking at them and you're noticing the fact that their faces are wrong. Like all of their faces, like each of the faces are just look slightly worried. Like if basically they're holding that like they're forcing the grin. They're holding it, and they're basically every once in a while, like you'll catch an eye flick. Because they're little holographic displays that repeat. So it's a short little scene that plays out, and then they'll kind of pause and hold the scene, but rather than actually just being completely frozen, their eyes will kind of flick off, and like they're like nervously scanning the crowd.
Well, these don't seem very convincing of how happy they are.
So
I don't know. I think they look quite pleasant.
I mean, look again, like at the end of every loop, they all look like they're waiting to be reprimanded.
Okay. And basically the other thing something that you will note, Chamberlain, is that when you're looking around, basically you'll see flashes of light, because basically everyone who comes in teleports in through a teleportation arch, much like what you did, and so you can see there's these arches scattered all over the place, and you'll notice the fact that there are, basically various of them are basically like there are little drones that pop in and out of them. And basically as one of them kind of flies past you, you note the fact that it says "High Next Secu Swarm, keeping you safe." And basically it's painted in nice, bright, happy colors and things like that. But the thing that you will notice is you tend to pay attention to how people react to robots and machines for obvious reasons. And you notice the fact that the people around here, basically whenever one of those kind of swoops in or flies by, everyone kind of shies away from it. Like basically not like running, panic, screaming type, but like, ooh, there's a wasp in the room type reaction.
Interesting.
Ignore this test roll. This should work. That worked fine. That worked fine. Nope. It kind of worked fine. It decided to work except for that. Fine. There. So. So you basically you're moving actually throughout the crowd, things like that. Is anyone wanting to do any shopping for anything in particular, or if you run for anything?
I mean, I'm sure I can find something for my act here.
Okay.
I'm just here to carry the bags.
Good on you, Chamberlain.
Okay.
I'm going to shop some of this retro stuff. Do you see they've got a Raspberry Pi 2000 in there?
I don't have an idea of what part of the timeline my character's from, really, so I don't know what to say here.
You're pretty much basically think cyberpunk dystopian type future. It's you're kind of the bounty hunter. Blade Runner is probably the better word. basically that kind of basically I took a time period where the Earth is kind of dystopian and things like that.
Got it.
So this is a lot of like accents and things like that that you're like looking at. Okay. So, Charlie, basically, what type of basically you can basically use to stay on? There are all sorts of different subjects. Are you looking for more costumes? Are you looking for more props? Are you looking for more basically aids, basically more vocal aids and things like that, like basically like a technology thing that could give you an edge?
I would love to find some of the most exotic fabrics, the likes of which 19th century England has never seen, to make something out of. I'm a dab-handed seamstress stuff. And of course, some of these fanciful high-tech gadgets, my goodness, they would just blow people's minds for props and sceneries.
Okay. So you end up, actually go ahead and give me a, one second. Give me a, give me a awareness craft roll.
That's normal, correct?
Yes.
Let's see, my awareness is 3, my craft is 4, so that's going to be 2d6 plus 7, and that's going to give me a 12.
Okay. 1 and 4. So basically, you end up finding basically someone your way. Basically, you find a place which is showing some of the like some ridiculously flashy cloth that seems to be able to be changed by. Basically, you're not certain how the effect is being done, but basically, like it's mesmerizing to kind of step into. Basically, it's just all of these different kind of basically flashing colors and things like that, and so you're incredibly interested in that, and you end up picking up a bunch of different stuff because you're like, oh, this is great, this is fascinating. Basically, you're not basically you're not you're like they're trying to upsell you on some other additional stuff that they want you to get as well, and you end up kind of trapped in the story. You end up basically as you're in there, one of basically this large brooding man. Basically, it looks like his head is just kind of like a giant potato. Basically, kind of stomps in and just kind of stomps and kind of stares at you and just kind of sniffs at it and says, "Hey, divinity, that seems to be some wonderful cloth you're holding. Great day, isn't it?" And then stomps back out. And so you will end up purchasing some of that cloth. And you end up getting a little bit basically upsold a little bit more. And they tell you how much credit is left on your thing, and you're like, oh, that was a lot more than you were expecting. Yes, no, yes, the giant potato was a Centauran. But I'm not for this game. It is up to you whether or not Luna has been traveling with me, or if Charlie has been traveling with the Dr. Lloyd to recognize them on site. And
Did I hear that correctly? Did that character say hated enemy?
yes.
Well, yes, he did.
I just wanted to make sure I heard that correctly.
It is a common Santaran greeting.
The Santarans are a warlike race. They divide everyone into two groups: people who are Santaran and therefore fellow soldiers, and people who are not and therefore victims, hated enemies, rebellious scum, etc., etc. Conversations go along those lines.
Well, everyone has their reasons to be the way that they are. I'm just interested in the makeup he's got. My goodness, I could reproduce this once I get back to England and really put on a stage show that'll knock their socks off.
Okay. basically, Sam, are you looking for anything in particular? So are you going to try to pick up anything in particular while you're in the shop?
I'm going to try and pick up a retro pocket-sized AI assistant.
Okay. Go ahead and you will find a couple of them, but the guy running the shop is great. And you've done enough of this in your time that you're used to this. It's a guy running a retro shop. Rather, it's an alien running an retro shop. He's got more tentacles and things like that. But it's an AI projection, and he keeps he's definitely going to try to upsell you on just how rare this thing is that you have. And so you're going to have to give me a resolve convince check, normal. As you attempt to essentially talk him down. You don't fall for the pattern, as it were. Okay.
Okay, that worked.
That's okay. So you're able to weather it, but you manage to convince him of the fact that it isn't as rare as he makes it out to be. And you could find 5 of them just walking down the street, etc., etc. But he's like, but that's great, but you would need to buy batteries for it. He's like, you have to buy this, you have to buy these, and he manages to fast talk you into an upsell of some batteries and other stuff that will power it. Keep it powered for centuries. You wouldn't want to run it out while you're in the middle of in your middle of time traveling and things like that. And you end up with that little tiny kind of AI computer, and it's quite perky and happy. It's like, hi, how are you? And you realize quickly that it doesn't have a mute function. And so it's like, hi, I'm your assistant. What are you looking for? What are you doing now? Would you like more assistance? It looks like you're trying to purchase an item. Would you like some assistance? You have picked up the Clippy of AI digital assistants.
I still think it's cool.
Oh God.
Okay, so
if an android could sigh, I am sighing right now.
Anybody else want to get anything? They go looking for anything, or they just kind of hanging out and watching the crowd. And doing the other activity, the other mall activity, which is crowd surfing or people watching, crowd surfing. Yeah. People watching.
Yeah, that's a different activity. Aiden is still kind of concerned by the odd hologram ads and is now looking at everyone with kind of a, but how do they really feel?
Okay, so you're kind of so you're starting to get closer to some of the ads and stare at them and things like that. And so what will happen is basically as you do that, you'll kind of end up locking eyes with one of the adverts, and it'll kind of just stare directly at you, basically for a bit, and it'll look like it'll almost start to say something, but then the image will loop, and it has been replaced by a completely different alien family now. And then you'll hear a clacking noise behind you, basically, as one of the drones will suddenly land behind you. And you can kind of tell it's like it's got a bunch of talons and other stuff which are there to basically obviously secure. Basically, you recognize this, and as basically if you were designing a drone that would basically be able to corral or secure rambunctious basically characters of any species. They've got different clams, different things, different kind of pincers and other stuff. And so it's kind of, but it's all very bright and pastel and things like that. It's a little bit disturbing to you. It's like someone took like basically a police car full of weapons and tools and things like that and painted them all bright pink and fussy. It's just a little bit off to you. Um, but it kind of lands in front of you, and the crowd kind of the crowd basically around you, will kind of part and back away and give you space around you. When basically suddenly a cone of light will flare out from between something that looks kind of like mandibles, you're guessing. And basically a humanoid, basically just dressed in flowing robes, face dominated by dozens of eyes that crowd out all of the features. Greetings! I am your personal shopper, a fragment of Heideck's AI ready to guide and serve you. Please remember that anything and everything you think, say, think, or secrete may be used as data to improve our service. How may we have assistance? And those words are just barely out of it, but suddenly the holographic figure just twitched. Suddenly its voice is high and panicky, and its many eyes are wide with fear. Help me, you have to help me, you have to help me, I don't know what I don't want to make me do this for making help me, help me, help me, help me. And suddenly screams start breaking out as all of a bunch of the drones basically start diving into the crowd randomly. Basically picking up people and things like that, basically picking people up, just teleporting them off, dragging them around, and other things like that. So,
that escalated quickly.
So what do people basically, so everyone in your various shops and positions and things like that, you can all see this happen. So what do you want to do?
As a scientist, like, is that sort of behavior something I would have seen before, or have any suspicions of, like, what could produce that?
Go ahead and, so basically you're going to contemplate, essentially.
Yeah.
Basically, so in case you're curious, because there isn't really conflict as basically there isn't as much of a conflict or combat system in Doctor Who, because the TV show doesn't have it as much. What they generally end up doing is you end up with everyone kind of goes at the same time, but certain actions tend to take precedence. There's the speaking, basically if you want to say something, diplomatizing, those tend to go first. Running, then movement related actions come next, and then finally interaction type actions, which can be stuff like firing or basically doors is non-combat stuff. So if you're doing stuff like basically opening doors, interacting stuff, pushing buttons, things like that, and then fighters is the last group who are they're basically doing physical conflict. So pretty much what it is we're going to break down everybody into what type of actions they want to be doing during this: talking, moving, doing, fighting. Basically contemplating will kind of lump into talking because so many information you get, you're going to want to spread. So you're going to want to do that. What are other people's? So Charlie, what are you going to be doing?
It's the roses. Stop her. No, I'm kidding. So having had the experiences that I have had in the past as a music hall star and working class girl with the police back in merry old England, I'm going to do whatever I can to try to help anyone that I see being basically gone after by these things. Assuming I've got fabric in my hands, I'd like to be able to throw some of that fabric over one of the drones, perhaps, to disrupt its ability to see and maybe release someone.
Okay. So that's a doing action. Chamberlain?
Danger, danger, Will Robinson, danger, danger.
All I can think of about your character is C-3PO. I don't know why.
I need to look over my character sheet. Please come back to me.
Okay. Aiden?
Aiden tries to grab the one that is pleading for help and pull them away from the drone to see if we can get away from it.
Okay. And Sam?
I don't know that I have much that I can do except help Aiden.
You'll see Aiden struggling with basically kind of grabbing a drone, and then you'll head over in that direction. Okay, so we'll start with talkers. Several of the drones basically will basically be emitting basically random noises or things like that. Please don't be alarmed. This is for your own good, or please resist. Please resist. Or here, we have regret to inform you. You have been found in violation of the policies. You will be sent to the returns department. And they're crowding people into this game. So, movers, the crowd itself, basically, obviously, like this, it kind of feels like basically like all the tension you have kind of suddenly felt. Basically, everyone kind of looking at the drones just kind of breaks at this point, and everybody just kind of does the thing that they were planning on doing, always kind of just on edge of doing. So, the teleport arches are immediately starting to get backed up as people just kind of slam in that direction. People are basically running back up the docking tentacles, trying to get back to their ships, and so those are getting stalled out. And so all of that just starts to happen. Doers, so actually, sorry, I skipped talking. I took Triceth. Triceth, you were going to give me this is probably, let's do ingenuity technology. For Martine.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Not the problem.
You
The
said ingenuity technology, is that what you said?
Yep.
Ingenuity for technology for elite. 16.
Okay. Basically, you're aware of the fact that there is a giant AI that is controlling all of this. And so basically these things are going to be the eyes and ears and things like that of that AI. And so for the AI to work, basically to do something like this, which seems so obviously out of its programming, out of its character, either indicates one of two things. One, the AI is having a massive, basically, garbage has been dumped in, and basically it's just having a massive panic attack and breaking down, or an external force is getting in and controlling them. It's your thoughts on what could be causing this behavior. And basically, you would have to get closer to the core in order to really tell.
I will inform the party and go towards the core to be able to tell.
Okay. Core, this is just a giant shopping plaza thing. So, but you can head towards Aiden and Sam as a counter robot. Chevrolet, did you ever reach a decision?
I figure at this point right now, he's just yelling at the drones that this is very improper. What are they doing?
Okay. Give me a communication. Actually, it's coordination. Give me a presence convince roll.
Okay.
6 and 1 balance each other out. So basically, you end up engaging several of the drones in an argument over proper behavior. And they're basically going that these are violating. They have violated protocol. Therefore must be removed. And you end up kind of in this deep logic loop with them, where basically they are. Basically, the people I needed to remove because they're obviously violating protocol because they need to be removed. And it just kind of keeps looping back and forth on that. you end up in this weird looping conversation with them. But you manage to keep them in conversation with you rather than grabbing people and throwing them into portals. Give yourself a story point for that. Now to the doers. Several of the things are grabbing people, etc. And if you, Aiden and Sam, you guys are working on grabbing this drone. Give me a.
Can I get some clarity real quick?
Sure.
Didn't you say that a being came out of the drone with many eyes?
A holographic display.
Ah, okay.
Much like the ads and everything else.
Yes, that's who I was trying to help. So, I don't know what that translates to.
I mean, there is a drone which is doing it, and it broke down into this kind of panic thing just at the same time that all of the other drones started malfunctioning.
Okay, cool. Then yes, I'll try to help this drone.
Can we open up the drone?
Not basically, it will take some effort to do that because obviously they're not designed to be just popped open by a random passerby. You would have to grab it and probably move it. Basically, if you're one, it looks like it's going to take off again and kind of join the madness. So both of you want to do that. You can pick one of you to give me a strength athletics.
That would be a +4 for me.
I only have a +3, so go ahead.
So the other one can support, and that basically means you're essentially just giving them a +2. Okay. So +2, that gives you a 12. So basically, you almost managed to keep a handle on it, but it just barely managed to slip out of your grasp. But you will note the fact that while it is leaving, the holographic projection that it is doing, basically suddenly stops panicking for a bit, looks at you and says, "You can help," and basically come this way, and books it down like the side corridor, where basically it beckons you to follow.
All right, let's follow.
Okay.
Yes, let's follow.
Okay, and also doing things. Charlie, give me a coordination athletics check.
Alrighty.
Dumping, basically you're driving cloth over things and rescuing people, basically trying to keep them off of.
Yes, that was coordination and what?
Athletics.
Sure. So coordination and athletics are both 4. So that's going to give me +8. That's going to give me a total of 19.
Okay, so not only basically with a roll like that, wow. Okay.
Heck yeah.
So obviously you were able you managed to drape basically some of them up. Basically you also managed to at the same time activate the fabric's like camouflage feature. So it ends up basically covering some of them, turning invisible, which causes the others of the things to kind of slam into it. Basically it ends up being this giant pile of a mess. Basically everything kind of just drops down. And because of all of that stuff, you're able to, because it clears up that entire area, you're able to, it kind of clears up and gives a path for everyone else around you. So A, give yourself a starting point for that. And B, you will also note that you will catch sight of Aiden and Sam running after another holographic figure heading down a hallway.
All right, wait for me. I'm coming with you.
Okay. So back around to the top, people are moving. Basically, it feels like most Aiden, Charlie, and Sam are moving. Chevrolet and Tricat, what do you guys want to be doing?
Well, I know I'm deep in the argument.
Are you
And I'm moving towards everybody else.
okay, Dragon is joining up. Charmaine, are you looking to move this conversation in a particular thing, or are you just going to keep them occupied?
My main goal is keeping them occupied.
Okay. For the sake of the adventure, you will note the fact that the rest of the other companions are also moving towards an exit. And basically the one which is projecting that one is kind of joins your group. Basically your arguments, but its arguments are more panicked. Like it knows there's something wrong with it. Like it's repeating the same things, but it's even more. Basically, its arguments are just kind of a little bit higher pitched, a little bit more panicked. And you'll notice the light line coming off of it heading towards basically towards the projection, which is running around a corner. And your fellow companion sitting that way.
In that case, I'm just going to clap it on the side and say, "You've got this," and start heading towards the rest of the group.
Okay. So everyone will end up piling after the holographic projection. And you will end up in basically going through a teleportation arch that it will lead you down towards. And you will you'll find yourself teleported through. And you'll end up you'll find yourself in a much more quieter area, though the teleportation this time feels weird. It's a little bit like flying and a little bit like food poisoning, which is incredibly discomforting for you, Chamberlain. Basically, you end up you're on a promenade and you're much higher up, from everything else. Basically, you can kind of see down. Basically, the holographic person isn't there at the moment, but you can look over the edges and balconies and things like that. You can see down into the giant plaza, which is down kind of the bottom of the bowl of this curved area. If that makes any sense, kind of gravitationally wise. But you can see basically the swarm still kind of swarming around, but a lot of your efforts have given time for the people to actually make it away. So people are vanishing into arches or teleporting away using their own personal displacement stuff. Occasionally, very rarely, you'll see little flashes of light as someone attempts to use a weapon to fire at something and is immediately set on by a bunch of the drones and then immediately teleported away. And then while you're watching that, this voice will boom through. "Greetings, shoppers. Due to a slight malfunctions, we ask all customers to make their way back to their ships, as closing time protocols will be triggered in the next 10 minutes. Any non-authorized beings present will be barred from the Giga Complex and also terminated. Thank you for shopping with us. Run for your lives!" There are a couple of people who have been shopping up in this area end up kind of screaming and disappearing, running past you into the teleportation thing, and you find yourself in this brightly lit kind of shopping area. You seem to have found the the media and the media section. So, but there's kind of a wide variety of the things, everything from scrolls to tapestries telling grand stories. And some of them even seem to have moving images woven into the fabric. You'll see crystals and things like that, and trinkets. You'll recognize there's some weird fleshy bits and things like that, which are organic computers, and everyone else kind of looks at it and sees just this weird, just kind of lumps of flesh with disturbing tentacles or eyes sticking out of them. And there are also bookstores and things like that. And as you're watching, suddenly just clang, clang, clang. Basically, as shutters just come down and start shutting all of the shops up, and basically leading you in this long corridor that basically has closed shop after closed shop after closed shop. With one exception. Halfway up the promenade, there is a bookstore that has molded books. Yes, there is. It's a mall. Even in space, there's a molded book. There actually is a Borders as well, but that one was already closed. Too soon. There's also, for some reason, because there's one in every section, there's the Spencer's Gifts, but it also closes relatively quickly. And Spencer's Gift and it's being a giant alien gigaplex is really weird.
And it's right by Hot Topic.
There's definitely something for my act in Spencer's.
Sir Spencer, of course. It's such a reliable name.
Oh dear.
In any case, so basically, missing out one bookstore. There's a hand there's a flickering holographic projection coming from one of the security stations around the area, and it looks like there's a hand kind of holding up the shutter, which is kind of bouncing into it, which is an odd effect given that it's holographic. It just kind of sparks and stops and bounces back up. And the personal shopper is waving to you. Down this.
I follow the personal shopper.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, let's go over there.
I'm part of the group. Let's go.
So basically, once you get inside, basically it kind of steps away, and the shutter goes down 3/4 of the way and stops, so you guys can still wiggle your way back out, but it is mostly obscuring the view into the shop. And then the personal shopper, it looks similar to the one that you saw earlier. It turns to you, and they have actual tears running down their holographic face. I didn't want this. I didn't want anyone to get hurt. I just didn't know what else to do. You must understand, the Giga Complex is an organism. Hydex is its brain, the personal shopper its thoughts. The sick form its antibodies. When the brain is sick, the symptoms manifest in other places, in other ways. Tricat disagrees with what you were thinking about what this could be. The attack on the Panopticon, the plaza you were just in, was not the first. Those shoppers are not the first to secure service kidnapped. Personal shoppers have been glitching, whipping, asking customers for a sell, asking customers for help. Always upsell, never upset. Always upsell, never upset. And basically, they start kind of grabbing their hand, and they're like, always upsell, never upset. Hydex is afraid. It's afraid. It's afraid. And basically, and then there's this weird kind of chiming noise, and then its mouth disappears. And it just kind of stares at you, being helplessly, and it kind of grabs its face and taps its area, and just kind of flails desperately, and then basically just kind of shudders for a bit, and basically the last thing it does before disappearing is it kind of gestures basically to the back of the bookstore, where there is a terminal in the back of the bookstore, and then it disappears.
Always upsell, never upset. And the brain is afraid? We need to check this terminal out.
Yeah, I want to go use that terminal.
Okay. So it is a kind of a shopping terminal. They're in all of them. They link all of the shops together. You essentially have two options. You can either access the store's personal shopper, which is on just to the store, which is native to the store itself, or you can try to get deeper into the customer data, which is accessible from this terminal. Which do you want to do, Ben?
The customer data.
Okay. Give me an ingenuity plus technology roll.
Well, I got good scores in both. That wasn't a particularly good roll.
Technology is technology, and it will not shock you that even in the deep future, and even with the giant gigaplex complex, security is always the last thing that gets updated.
That's what I was expecting.
And so you're able to kind of tweak a couple things and kind of poke at some stuff and get it to spit out some data it normally shouldn't give you access to, which in this case is by the kind of tweaking normally it has the ability to show you where kind of like a heat map type thing of what shopping areas are currently the busiest in the mall. And you're able to kind of isolate that down to give you data on particular types of particular groups and types of people. And what you will note is the fact that the warrior like races that you guys noted earlier, the Centaurans, the Grilltane, and the Ice Warriors, those three groups seem to have broken off from and are not panicking, unlike everyone else in the complex. There's a giant mass towards the exit, but those groups seem to be heading towards one particular area in the in the mall. It looks like the North Pole of the inside of the moon, essentially. You also have access to things.
Did you just say the North Pole?
Yes.
I started doing a happy dance. Ooh, maybe we can see Santa Claus.
Is
Well,
it?
how far away is the North Pole? We should probably go see if we can see what they're heading for.
Hang on 1 second. There's someone at my door. 1 second.
Oh.
I'm knocking on the GM's door. Yeah.
Microphone back on, so now you can actually hear me again. Okay. So it's a Christmas delivery. Someone was dropping an ornament off at my door. Oh, very nice.
That's very nice.
Okay. So, what other info? What are other people? There are multiple stations. So, are anybody else wanting to access the systems?
Yeah, I want to call up the personal shopper for the store.
Okay. A shopper, this one is someone wearing, they're dressed, I'll think you're, your English literature professor, all in tweed, but with 6 eyes and 6 spectacles on, on each pair of eyes. It's just like, hello? How may I help you? I feel that we are not currently offering shopping at this time.
That's an understatement. Tell me, are you in any distress?
It kind of tilts its head slightly. I am a personal shopper. Why would I be in distress? I am only here to help customers get the best deals they need and offer them with books. Help them with the books.
Do you have knowledge of the overall complex?
I am aware of basically, I can assist you in this. If you wish to look at an additional store or other areas or the exits, I can help you with that.
Can you tell me how to get to the North Pole?
If the North Pole, where particularly in the North Pole are you looking to go?
Aiden will look around for input from the others.
Ask him if he knows why the bots have gone crazy.
I'll assume that he heard that question.
He just kind of looks over at you and just kind of adjusts his collar and very primly just kind of stands there and looks at me, does the proper thing, basically checking, inspecting his sleeve and dusting it off, and basically dusting off another sleeve.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess that's a no.
Okay.
So Charlie's a pretty good judge of character. Is there a way that I could verify that he's telling the truth and not just avoiding saying something?
Give me presence plus convince.
All right, presence plus convince. That is for me a 4 and a 4, so that's another plus 8, and I got a 15.
Okay. Basically, you can tell the fact that he is avoiding any topics that could cause problems. Like he is very definitely basically. It's not that you reach the topic he doesn't know about or anything like that. It's one of those, you're getting the avoidance thing where basically there's some eye movements where you basically like get a little bit of head shakes and things like that, where it's just basically it is someone who is clearly in somewhat in distress, but basically is avoiding topic landmines, as it were. If you run into a similar thing where basically talking to someone in the hall, basically they're not wanting to talk about someone else in the crowd who probably may have weapons or hurt on them. But still trying to carry on a friendly conversation.
So he's basically giving us the ixnay on the stress day?
Yes. Somewhere than that, yes.
Tell me, friend, if when you and I are speaking, is anyone else listening to our conversation?
Shopper security is shared only. Conversations with the personal shoppers are only shared with shared with the Hynex AI, and may be reviewed for customer satisfaction.
If I to go shopping for assisting for devices and elements for assisting drones in trouble and other beings in trouble, where should I go?
It kind of looks at you and well, if you are looking for particular digital information and research, I would suggest that you look into the books on security systems, security hubs, and also be aware of that others are looking for similar books as well, and maybe the developer may be limited as in a short time those areas may become those books may become unavailable.
I want to ask him a question.
Good.
I want to ask him a paradox.
Okay.
I'm looking for a book which contains all the books which aren't self-referential. But should it reference itself?
Oh,
Wow, Ben.
Well, he's a robot. I want to see how he reacts to this.
It's great.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Yeah, Jake, how's Chamberlain handling that question?
Was the name of Chamberlain, so
basically, what ends up happening is that it starts to answer, stops, starts to answer, stops, starts to answer, stops, turns off, and then turns back on, and the shopper is slightly different now. Basically, the tweed pattern is slightly different. The spectacles are basically it's got 8 eyes now instead of 6. And it just kind of looks at you and says, "You've been assigned a new personal shopper as we detected the last one had issues. Would you like to repeat your question?"
No, I don't need to repeat the question. That was an interesting outcome.
Chamberlain, give me a no, basically, give me awareness knowledge.
that's what I get for wiping out the +7 earlier. Give me just a second here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
6 of the 1, can't switch it around.
Again, put that.
7 plus 7, 14. Okay. You are aware, basically, he mentioned security hubs, basically things like that when he was talking to DirectEd. You know for a fact that while these systems here are limited in the amount of data that they could give you, a security hub, like what he was referencing, basically, you're aware of the fact that you fairly certain you saw one of those just down the hall from here. And accessing that could get you more direct communication with the AI that could bypass the security, basically some of the other stuff. Basically the consumer protections essentially that would be on this device.
Well, if I remember that, then I'm going to get Sam's attention. And I'm not sure if you noticed on the way up here, there was a security terminal.
Let's go check it out and see what we can do.
Now, I'll lead back to the terminal.
Okay. As you start to go out, basically, the personal shopper will suddenly kind of spring back into life and be like, "Oh, you might wish you be aware that some of the stores on this area are currently involved in a surprise shopping basically expedition. Basically, people are coming. Basically, surprise visitors to each store will basically carry." They carry surprises for new customers. And it kind of glitches and then disappears.
Was there anything about that was suspect?
Everything.
I mean, like what about that tip? Was the hand tipped at all? Like, are we talking about like a security force or actual?
And it's the first time that the personal shopper has offered information without someone asking for it.
Aiden notes as much to the group.
Everyone could give me a flat awareness roll. Oof.
Oh no. Hold on.
Wow, okay. So you're having this conversation quite
That was
loudly.
three bad rolls.
Oh, Lord.
Aiden, you're the only one that's everyone's kind of having this conversation about going across the hall, where exactly the security hub is. And it's suddenly, basically, Sam is having to deal with the fact that his AI assistant, it looks like you're trying to hack into a
Oh my
security system. Are you aware of the history of devices like the Flipper Zero?
Can you shut that thing up?
But Aiden, you will hear heavy booted footsteps kind of outside in the hall, and then kind of like basically then like an electronic kind of scanning noise, and then more booted footsteps. And it's gonna nothing here. Vital heat detected somewhere on this platform. Acquisition cannot be threatened. And then more booted footsteps. Sticking your head out under the door. You will basically two of the ice warriors who are large. They wear really big, thick armor. They have like swords and other stuff, and like basically swords and like that's the other guns and things like that. But they're very obviously you can tell they're locked into place and can't be moved. But they're still large, massive people, and they're walking up to doors, scanning the door. The bio heat detected, and was going to keep them marching down to the next store and scanning that store. And they seem to be going store by store.
Okay, Aiden shushes everyone and informs them of what is going on and asks for suggestions.
Do I happen to have any of that fabric from earlier left, perhaps, on me?
You do.
Would it perhaps be enough to throw over the group and mask the heat signature?
You would basically, you are not 100% certain with your, actually give me awareness technology.
Okay, well that's going to be simple because I don't have any technology. So all I know, I suppose, is that the fabric is cool and pretty and does neat stuff.
You managed to trigger it kind of by accident before, but you're not certain how you did it though.
Okay. Well, I got a 7 then.
Okay. So you know basically you know generally how it works, but you basically you fiddle with it for a bit, you get bright flashing colors, and then you fiddle it for a bit, you get stripes, and then you fiddle with it for a little bit more. It's a Trikith or Sam. Either of you could help Charlie with this. Let's see this. You see him just kind of doing it. Like this worked earlier.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what do I roll to help?
Technology awareness?
Yep. So Sam was a solid basically. So you were able to figure out not only how to get it to do the invisibility thing that it did earlier, but you also managed to figure out how to basically this fabric was essentially basically what Charlie ended up buying wasn't necessarily just a fabric, because this was more meant to be a blanket, so it actually has like heating and cooling features built into it. And you figure out how to do that, and with this between you and Tricats, you figure out you could probably set that up.
So we can set the cool to mask our heat signatures, as well as to invisible to focus.
How much fabric would you have bought, Charlie?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How much fabric would you have bought?
Probably something that neat. Probably about as many bolts as I could carry with as much of my second string performer paycheck as possible.
Okay.
Well, the doctor did give you credits as well.
Fair point. So I would say I probably bought of multiple fabrics, but of that one, probably at least 2 bolts.
So you probably have 8 bolts of that left. You probably use a bolt downstairs to distract basically distract the first sinking storm. So you have a bolt. You have about a full bolt of that fabric left.
Okay.
Oh. Today I learned that a bolt of fabric is 100 yards.
For a novelty fabric, in my experience, I would actually take that down to about 40.
Yeah.
But that's still plenty. I spend a lot of time at Joann's.
I like no. There might have been several times during my cosplaying experience that we had been on first name basis with people at Joanne cutting counters. And then basically had to explain to the employees how things work.
So we're going to use this to camouflage just getting to the security terminal, right? At least Aiden and I, or yeah, Aiden and I going that way.
Well, are the jackboot dudes? How close are they? When I poked my head out.
They're going store by store. Basically, at the current rate, you probably have about 5 minutes or so before they scan the store you're in.
Maybe we all just stay here and hide under it before they get to us. Can we get that door down? Maybe that would, and then once they're gone, we can access the security terminal.
Sure, there should be a manual override for the door somewhere near it, right?
You could probably.
Do I have a heat signature?
No. We'll say this. You probably have a core which produces heat, but it's very deep enough inside that it isn't something that would show up on a bio heat scan.
So it would probably be best if everybody else hid, and I will go up and see if I can mess with the door, and if they get too close, I'll just act like I'm deactivated.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Everyone is going to basically throw themselves under Charlie's police, the invisible police blanket, essentially.
Behind the counter.
Yep.
For good measure.
And then Charlotte is going to attempt to operate the door. Give me a. What is this going to be? You basically the door. If you're basically given your knowledge, you probably know where the door override is. So it's probably going to be. You're probably going to try to shut this quietly. I'm guessing.
Yes.
So give me a coordination athletics as you attempt to basically slowly operate the mechanism so as not to attract attention.
Way to go. You heard that from here.
That's on brand.
So basically, all of you will hear him.
Story point.
But when you can use story points, you can use story points to kick that up. Basically, you can't convert that. Well, actually, you can't convert that up too high. You can convert that to a non-critical failure. Meaning the fact that you don't drop the door and swear loudly.
No, let's see what happens with 2 no buts.
Okay. So you don't basically you end up basically trying to operate the mechanism, and the problem is the fact that on your planet everything works clockwise, but here everything is threaded backwards and it's threaded counterclockwise. So you end up yanking the door straight up. And so the doorway is now wide open with a clatter, and the Ice Warriors will both turn in your direction and are going to see basically see you in the doorway. How are you going to react?
Don't mind me, just some issues with the door. It'll be taken care of in just a moment.
Okay. They will clop over to you. Identify yourself.
I am Chamberlain. I am one of the assistants here at the bookstore.
What type of books are sold here? That peering into the shop.
Books. We carry many books. All types.
Give me a presence convince.
See, my problem is I printed everything out, and I've got new glasses. All right, here's for another double one. All right, give me a second.
5 and a 6. Nice.
That's good.
That's better.
They're like, they kind of look over. I think it's they look like, yeah. Didn't I see one of these downstairs? Yeah, man. Martian Empire doesn't have time for these robot scum. Soon we will rule the galaxy and shut down all of these terrible malls and books. There they. Keep up your good work, servant. We will return in time for you. And we'll stomp onwards down the hallway.
I'm looking forward to it. Good luck in your hunt.
They'll actually stop and say, wait, actually, they'll stop that. Have you seen two... They will kind of pause and look at each other. Customers. Have you seen customers in this area recently?
All customers left when the doors started closing.
Which way did they go?
I generally point towards the exit for the level.
Figures. Start to scan. They kind of scan. They scan the store that you're in. I don't see anything here. I'm not seeing anything. All these stores are closed. Must have been a malfunction. Head back.
It has been known to happen. It has been known to happen.
The auction will start soon. They stop back. They stop off towards the teleporter.
I watch them acting like I'm fiddling with the door until I see them actually leave.
Okay, they step to the teleporter and disappear.
All clear.
All right.
Did they just say
Auction will start soon.
Yes. And I don't believe it's probably products that they're looting from stores.
I mean, considering we didn't see them take anything from stores. What do you want to bet that everybody they captured with the drones are getting auctioned off somewhere to someone?
Maybe it's happening at the North Pole.
Well, now that they're gone, I think we should try that security terminal.
Yep.
Charlie, well done with the cloth.
Happy to be able to help.
So I lead over to the security terminal.
Okay. You head over to security terminal. This takes a little bit of work to get the cover off, but you're able to. You're able to do that, and you're presented with essentially like a huge with a security console, like the usual blinking light and a security systems are us. Galactic Core version 13.5.6.23.
Let's see what they can tell us about what's going on.
Every security system. Give me resolve plus technology. Because as soon as you start working on it, basically, it starts basically not only does it basically start getting information, you immediately basically like you start up and there's a pop-up ad that pops up right next to you. And basically it starts basically playing a loud jingle about security systems are jam, security systems are the best. Call us, we're the security guys. And then you keep going and more ads keep popping up and the previous ones start shutting down and they're just playing on loop. Basically you're getting ads for kitchenware, for weird organics, basically supplements, slurries, and things like that. And they're just getting louder and louder as you keep working on it. But you're able to basically you end up to push your way through all of it, and you end up basically getting access to the core system itself, and in there you will basically discover the fact that basically the database as soon as you access that you're able to clear there's a couple of processes here. If you find that there's a couple of processes which are running in the personal shopper databanks, and once you kill those processes off, you have a little bit of time before they're getting restarted by another process that's locked in deeper that you can't quite get to. But the personal shopper databanks have lower security, so they're able to get in there and kill those watcher apps and basically act in the time before they get restarted. That same holographic shopper from before, not the one that was helping you basically down on the plaza, pops up and says, Avenue Platinum is where the North Pole basically set the North Pole. That's the richest area of the entire complex. And basically it pops up a map, and basically it's this shimmering gold like VIP section with like ridiculous name brands, which basically they don't have like single syllables, or some are just symbols and things like that even your translator pins can't even translate. They're that kind of upper class, rich type of stuff and things like that. They're like, that's what they're meaning. That's where you need to be. Basically, I can get you there, but you're going to have to go quickly. Quick, use these. And a bunch of drones show up and land next to you. Basically, the personal shopper will gesture to them and basically quickly grab onto them. I detect the movement's going to attract some of the attention of some of the other ones, some of the shapeshifters in the area. You have to act quickly. And so basically he will gesture towards the drones.
Okay, what do we do? Just grab it?
Let's go. Yeah.
Now, this is an entrance I can only dream of.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay. So basically, all of you will grab onto them and you'll be lifted off. Basically, as you're lifting off, you will see several of the ice warders return back in. Heat seeker has been redetected. What's going on? Humans, where are they? Basically, the personal shopper will run towards them and says, Ice Warriors, if you are looking for the frozen yogurt section, you will find them on stands. And basically just immediately they start arguing with that as you get whisked away by the drones. But you're not there. Basically, you start heading up towards what you're guessing is the magnetic north, basically of this. But as you do, basically there's suddenly this flap of wings and these weird, basically bat-like creatures kind of start flapping out from underneath something and start flying towards you. So, what are you guys going to do?
Are they gaining on us?
Slowly but surely, yes. Basically, you're all being held onto, basically, so your arms are free. basically you are relatively comfortable because obviously the security drones would want to transport people in discomfort, even if they are being escorted out of the mall. But
Upsell, not upset.
yes. So how do you wish to deal with this? We'll go ahead and go through. So Charlie, how do you want to handle? How would you handle this?
Is there any way to make these things go any faster?
How would you like this? Is that, are you asking the drone that question, or are you attempting to do something about it?
Oh no, I'm asking the drone that
Okay.
question, or maybe Sam knows something, or
Basically, we'll end up having, you'll ask it to go faster, and it'll be like, I am operating under minimum safety requirements, basically, for your comfort, basically, and the comfort of the comfort of others being transported. Give me a presence plus convince roll
alrighty.
to attempt to convince it to exceed its minimum safety requirements.
All right, so that's 4 for presence, and to convince is 4, so that's plus 8. 13.
Okay. That will be enough to basically keep moving. Basically, so yours speeds up and it's like, I apologize for the discomfort, but I understand your concerns. Customer satisfaction is number one. And basically, Charlie's drone starts whipping forward. Chamberlain.
I politely ask my drone why it's not keeping up with Charlie's.
Okay. You two can also give me a presence plus convince roll. But you get the same comments back about, I am basically operating under minimum safety requirements. Okay. 6 against which is right. 14. Okay. You're basically, it's like, understand.
I'd like to remind it I don't have comfort.
Oh, my apologies. I did not do a bioscan before picking you up. I assumed you were squishy. And your speed increases basically a bit. You actually pass Charlie a little bit. Aiden?
Listen, can we all just get going a little faster? What do we need to do to make that happen?
Well, I have an idea. I'm going to tell my drone to relay to other drones in the mall that those bat-like things are breaking protocol by being here after stores closed.
Okay.
Clearly we aren't, because we're being transported by drones.
Okay. Do you want to roll presence to convince with that, or do you think that there's some other skill that would work better for that?
If I roll presence and convince, I have to be lucky, but it seems like a logical argument says anything that makes sense. Maybe resolve and convince? I don't know.
Go ahead and roll resolve and convince.
Okay.
You're able basically to convince that it doesn't want basically some other drones start chasing behind. So you end up taking out some of it, distracting some of them. You probably reduce the numbers. They'll say that there's probably one for each of you, so there's probably not only like 2 of them still following you, 3 of them get tangled up by that. Aiden and Treketh?
What do I need to roll to get my drone to go faster?
You just want to try to convince that basically your safety is basically you can safely maintain a faster speed and give me a presence plus convince.
I'm not very convincing. This is not going to be good.
But you have other options. You don't have to do. You don't have to take that option if you want.
Well, I want to keep up with the pack.
Well, again, basically, you're all going to arrive there at the same time. The point of the scene is how do you deal with stuff chasing you?
Oh, with stuff chasing me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a scientist. I'm not a combat person. I'm not even an adventurer.
Actually,
I freaked the hell out.
you actually are. You have a combat skill of like 3, I think.
Oh, I
Which is one
do?
of the highest in the party. Yeah.
Oh,
You're-
never mind.
You're a group of warrior dinosaur people from the
Yeah,
Meta
you're a
Team.
warrior race.
Yeah, so yes.
Okay. I stare back at them intently and try to intimidate them to leave us alone.
Okay, give me a presence. We'll do either conflict or convince, your choice.
Present. Well, convince I have nada, so I don't. There's no such thing as conflict. Not on here anyway. I have presence, but I don't have
If you're
conflict.
looking at the character sheet in the app, it is basically use a fighting skill. That is what.
Oh, fighting. Okay, we'll use fighting.
Because as with
So
first edition,
presence.
they merged fighting and marksmanship into just a conflict. And for
Got
some
it.
reason, no one has actually created a second edition version of the character sheet in Roll20.
I still have no. Yeah, no,
Would
this
you like
is
to
not.
use some of your story points?
I'm gonna use one of my story points to say that I'm scary enough looking that it makes sense that I'm scary looking.
You're going to basically go with you trigger some kind of primal fear they have of your
Yeah.
species. Okay, that'll bump it up to our
Some superstition about dinosaurs and bots not getting along or something.
Well, these things are crazy or organic. They're active. They're just like weird.
Oh,
weird
some superstition that I'm gonna eat them.
Okay. All right, you played that up. So go ahead and basically we'll call that you're only moving up by 1, so that's just a 1 story point. So basically you have one story point. And Aiden, you're able to convince your thing to go a little bit faster. Okay, there are 2 of them still following you. Sam is taking care of 2 of them. You could either outdistance them on this turn or do something else to get rid of them. Start back with Charlie again.
All right. Well, I do have a cake of grease paint with me. I could try throwing that at them, see if it can knock one of them out.
Okay. It could be a coordination conflict.
Okay. Coordination is 4. And conflict is actually 0. Should have probably thought about that a little harder. That's all right. I did get a 9.
Okay. This is contested roll. Their stats. Second. Lore link. Creatures. Protein. Coordination. Okay. Slightly very buffy. Okay. 11. Okay. So it is going to manage to dodge out of the way. Oh, actually, that's a 1 in there, though. Okay. So it is going to manage to dodge out of the way, but doing so means that it will have to slow down. And so it will still, basically, it could still present a danger to someone else in the group this round, but after this round, it is losing, and it'll fall behind. Chamberlain.
I have nothing on me, and I'm designed for etiquette and protocol. Go faster.
Okay.
Let's go faster. Let's go faster.
Give me presence with convince.
Isn't that what I rolled last time?
Yeah, or basically, you can think of some other way you can convince it to go faster. Basically, some other skill rolls that would do that.
Well, I mean, the only thing that would make a difference is if I chose resolve, so no, that's fine.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
For once, there's not a 1 in there.
You managed to convince it to disengage all of its safety protocols. And so it will still, basically, it still presents a danger to someone else in the group this round, but after this round, it is losing, and basically, That because you're an android, and therefore that human is not actually carrying anybody, and therefore, if you kill it at top speed, basically, all this protocols are just dealing with organics, and it's not carrying an organic, therefore it can do this kind like all of its speed. Okay. Aiden, Dreketh, or Sam. There's one left.
I'm going to throw my AI assistant at it. That thing is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a coordination plus. Probably conflict.
Marksman? Maybe?
It's conflict.
It's marksman?
Yeah,
conflict. Oh, it's conflict?
Which is fighting, which
okay.
is what the fighting skill is, yeah.
Sure. I have no bonus on that either, just like Charlie.
So
I did okay, though.
So, what you may not be aware of is the fact that basically you have the curl data are sensitive to loud noises, and basically as you chuck the AI assistant, it screams in terror. As you throw it behind, it's like, it looks like you're trying to, what? Wait, no, oh no, wait, you can talk this out. Maybe do you want to run a letter? Maybe you can write the most strongly worded letter. I can help you with it. It just screams as it goes by. Basically, the thing just kind of clutches its ears and just kind of screams. Basically, loses concentration and ends up falling out of the sky.
You appear to be falling out of the sky. May I be of assistance?
I appear to be falling. I need help. I need to self-actualize really quickly. Oh, look, there's something down there. Maybe we can be friends. Kind of a nice round-sounding name. Growl. Okay, with that, you guys will arrive in, let's see, Avenue Platinum. And Avenue Platinum is just as ritzy as it sounds. We're reaching the end here. People are worried about time. It's good. You will. That's good. It's good. You will basically the other. We can look through to the Fifth Avenue. It's Fifth Avenue. It's $1 million. Basically, it's $1 million mile from Chicago. Is it $1 million mile? What's the Chicago equivalent? Rodeo Drive. Yeah. I don't know what the London equivalent of it is. I actually don't know the name of the fanciest district in London.
Regent Street, Bond Street.
Regent Street,
somewhere around there, maybe.
Yeah. So it's all of those. Basically, you literally land on a red carpet. Basically, the blinding fluorescence and music that was subtly playing throughout the rest of it is now placed with basically like a soft orchestral score. It's soft blue light. There's a red carpet, and like the entire chamber is just like a broad circle. Basically, it's just kind of like lined with trees. It looks natural, and it's there are like little anti-grav hammocks and things like that, where like floating brochures kind of basically just kind of drift up basically just faintly outside, and AI assistants kind of hover around the area. There's no actual merchandise because this is not the type of place where basically you actually purchase a physical object. That would be gauche. Basically, you just order things. Things are ordered, and then whatever your wish is then custom made on the spot and then brought to you. And you can see basically this entire thing is kind of set into a dome. And you are just on the basically the red carpet that you were landed on runs just outside Service Merchandise 3000. Ooh, there's a name I haven't heard of in a long time.
Oh my god. My childhood.
And so basically inside basically there are multiple kind of domed entrances into this area. basically kind of archways, glass archways, and basically beautiful plotted plants and other stuff. And there is, standing at each of them, there is a like richly like tuxedoed figure, whose face looks very familiar to all of the personal shoppers that you have seen throughout the rest of it, wearing a bright gold suit, the bright gold tuxedo. And you can see inside the dome many, basically many people. You can see some of the crueltanes are kind of wandering in there. Some of them have different forms and things like that. And basically the Santarans and Paleo type people are wandering around, and they appear to have basically, because of the fact that they have been basically somewhat upset by the policy, they all appear to be carrying tongs or carving forks or spatulas or whatever. Basically, one of them who basically is obviously as people gathered around him and is obviously basically the leader of the group is wearing a bright stole that basically has like symbols of offices on it, and it basically has a big stripe down it that says, basically when you look at it, it gets translated. It says "Hail to the chef! Hail to the chef!" It looks like they just raided the kitchenware department. And basically,
so there's the upmarket personal shopper is here.
Yes, yeah, basically there's one in each of them. Basically, all of them are kind of gathered around, and there are other displays and other stuff. And the biggest thing you can see in the center of it, there's a large glass dome that has a large computer, basically a computer device in it with flashing lights and things, circuitry, obviously inside of it. And that is inside the dome.
So do we see any groups of people?
No. There are things on displays inside. But basically there's not people wandering around. You can't really see, they're small enough, you can't really see what they are from this distance. But they do seem to be the object of interest that people are looking at.
Can we find an assistant and tell them we're here for the auction and ask him for a list of the lots?
Basically, when you start to approach basically one of the figures, basically this one is even basically it's like this is the 4K up res HDR basically version of the holograms. Basically, it's almost impossible to tell it's different from an actual person. Basically, he's wearing the basically that bows to you and says, "I am Erblo Zim, Managing Director at the Hydex Gear Complex. Before you may enter this auction, you must present your credit. Please hold still for a credit check." Do you step forward?
What if we present the credits that we were given by the doctor?
Okay.
Sure.
So you step forward, and basically like beams of light kind of play out over you. Basically you hear it, basically, and he kind of basically he just kind of says, "Please state your current net worth." And so he says this to each of you, so each of you can give what your response to that question would be. Charlie?
176,000 British sterling pounds.
He kind of frowns slightly and says, "Hydex, please give me the conversion rate on that." "Ah, why, thank you. Well, you are certainly fit to answer, Charlie. Please do." Chamberlain, you're up next.
I am. I am here to assist my party.
Oh, you're a serving drone. Well, we go.
Got my head.
In,
I just wordlessly hand him the credits that the doctor gave us.
please state your net worth. Unless you cannot
You
speak.
tell- You tell me what's on this.
Do you not know your current net worth, then?
I've never found much use in keeping track.
Ooh, well then. Give me a presence convince roll.
This could go multiple ways. Whoops.
You kind of basically, oh, well, yes. In that case, you obviously, pardon my rudeness, sir. And that bows and basically, Hynex has informed me that your credit ratings are exceptional. Treketh?
I'm gonna tell him that I'm simply here to advise Charlie, and I'm here to like play the whole like servant thing.
Okay. Give me presence convince.
Oh Lord, I would have been better off giving them a random number.
A lot easier to do when you're an android, not a warrior lizard.
That's true. Actually, I'm gonna go for bodyguard. I'm a bodyguard.
If you're going for
I'm a
bodyguard,
warrior
give me
lizard.
presence conflict then.
2 and conflict. So would conflict be fighting then?
Conflict is fighting, yes.
Alright, it's a +5. Oh Lord, I sucked at a bodyguard.
You went dead broke.
I start just I'm gonna use a story point and just start like or whatever it's called and just like start flexing my muscles and playing the whole like kind of what bodybuilders do.
Which way to the gun shoe?
You're going to call big ups to the fact that this particular individual has a thing for lizard women. Okay, sure. Give me 2 hero points for that.
Since I can't roll, I gotta make it work somehow.
To be honest, I'm a lizard woman. What's the exact quote? I can't remember the one from Doctor Who. I'm a lizard warrior for beyond. This is my wife. And then so Sam, you're the last one.
So I'm going to pull out my 21st century bank card because I have about $500,000 in assets being an IT professional in the mid 21st century. So figure out the exchange rate and compound interest on that.
Ooh, Walter play the grand piano.
He will basically kind of stare at that, and basically be like, "Well, Hynex will handle that," and be like, "Oh my, well, you're lucky they don't go back to some charge an active fee, sir." Congratulations, you may come in. Basically, he kind of follows basically one of them. Basically, this one seems to now kind of splits off of that one and starts to follow you around the area and kind of gives you a kind of rundown of what the office has. Well, welcome to the auction. We have a great number of things which are available for purchase. Basically, he will kind of basically, you can see that all of the basically there are multiple copies of this hologram who are doing things with basically to the other groups as well. Basically, kind of giving a talk about each one. Basically, each one of the items, and they're ridiculously basically glorified things like this is the rarefied heart of the basically the the mammoth of Gargablax. It only has one heart every 6,000 years, and basically this one was harvested and delivered to our mall. Basically, we confiscated it as part of a security check for exotic species trafficking. And over here, of course, you can see the famous painting by the multi-armed, multi-brained telepathic artist Rembrandtiato. And his work, you can see he's captured 1,000 lifetimes of a single fly. As it has lived and reincarnated on his home planet. And if you stare at it deeply enough, it's said that one could be driven insane. It was confiscated as part of a. He keeps going, and the common theme that for each of the items is the fact that each of the items has had some reason for it to be confiscated. By the security systems at some point during the mall's existence, whether violating weapons, exotic weapon trafficking, the people who had it died, and basically died or they left when their entire species was exterminated due to that. They were locked into a time bubble or something like that, and forever lost from the space-time continuum, etc., etc. The two of the items that stand out, there's one item that all of the ice warriors are standing around and, in fact, actually getting kind of pushy with anybody else who attempts to basically get anywhere near it, which is lot number 13, which is a ruby the size of a human head. Basically, Chamberlain and Aiden and Triketh, you're well traveled enough that you can give me an awareness plus knowledge roll to possibly recognize it.
I mean, it's just 7s across the board. But it doesn't help when all your roll ones.
Basically, Chamberlain, you get a little too close, and you'll end up getting kind of shoved away by one of the ice warriors who glares at you. Aiden, you will recognize that is the Heart of Mars, a long-lost ice warrior relic. It's one of those national treasure type things, and that definitely explains why they'd be here for it. But the item which definitely seems to be the most interesting to everyone, and in fact, Urbolazine himself seems to kind of draw attention to it, and kind of this is the most complicated thing. The prize of all, lot number 9. As you can see today, it just looks like a weird kind of lens crystal that it's hard to even look at. As it kind of warps everything and folds in on itself. And it's like anything you're looking through, everything on the other side is immediately in focus. And it's everything on the other side is immediately in focus. No matter like your brain barely can deal with it. Like there's a person over there, and now they're immediately in focus as long as the person standing next to them, the person standing next to them, etc., etc. And so seeing all of that is basically it's like that is the Eagle Eye 360. He kind of lowers his voice to conspiratorial whisper. We don't know what the actual name was. It was found left in the storage locker. But the Eagle Eye 360 seems to have tested well with our focus groups. But it can be added to any weapon, from your simplest of plasma pistol to an orbital rail cannon. Whatever it is, if you attach it to it, the item, that weapon cannot miss. It will bend space and time to ensure that the shot reaches its target. He just kind of grins, and as he's kind of pleading about that, you will note the fact that some of the lights kind of start to flicker, and some of the basically some like one of the drones basically that was kind of hovering around the area starts to kind of seize up and kind of twitch. Basically almost basically he kind of waves his control wand at it and it fixes itself. Get me basically Sam and Brad will give me a awareness technology roll. And if he kind of hand waves it, he's like, a minor glitch, easily corrected. Next gets these ideas into its circuits, starts taking its health and safety protocols too seriously. Once the auction is complete, I think a full memory purge is in order. Okay. So Sam, with that roll, you will basically realize that basically whatever this thing is, it seems to be the thing which is throwing Hynax into fits. And B, basically because you start to note what you notice is you look over and the Hynax basically computer orbits in the center of this plaza starts to flash and things like that. You can see that something has been inserted into it. Basically, it doesn't fit with any of the rest of it. Like, you may not know the exact technology, but like that's a USB stick if you've ever seen one, kind of shoved into it. It doesn't fit in with any of the rest of the technology that makes up the AI core itself.
Can we just go and pull the USB stick out?
It's under a dome right now, and you fairly feel like you could. But the answer is with a little bit of time, you could probably get access to it, but it's going to draw attention to you. And Herblo is going to start to basically wrap things up, and we need to make sure that the auction will begin here shortly.
So, since I probably didn't leave behind that invisible blanket, should I kind of gesture over to Sam and Aiden and kind of like, you know?
You want to use your cloak of invisibility?
Well, I think we're all thinking the same thing, and I mean, if we need to get close to something without anyone seeing us, there's no better way than invisibility. I could have used this back in my younger days being a pickpocket on the streets of Whitechapel.
I mean, there's always the droid. Nobody pays attention to the droid.
What are you suggesting, Chamberlain?
Whatever you're planning on doing, tell me and I'll go do it. I mean, this is the sort of crowd I was programmed for.
You're a hero, Chamberlain.
So you know the fact that if you just make the orb disappear, obviously that will attract attention. So you will probably need some kind of distraction.
I clear my throat, gather up my skirts, march to the center of the room, and loudly demand, I want to speak to a manager.
Since I pretended to be a bodyguard, I will follow right behind her and continue flexing muscles.
I just look at everybody else, shrug, and just start making my way over to...
Okay. Sam and Aiden, what do you want to be doing?
Sorry, Aiden is offline. Aiden's player is absolutely tickled.
You've been Karen.
Oh my god. I never expected to cheer for a Karen.
Well, we could start a distraction in the traditional way by, why don't you hit me?
Oh no.
Okay, so everybody is here to try to start a brawl.
The place is full of
Warrior creatures.
warrior creatures. Yeah.
How do you want to set that up?
Hmm.
I mean, do I have to?
All right. Well, taking a punch is probably not my strength either. So if you don't want to, that's fine. And I certainly don't want to get in the brawl with all these Sontarans or whatever else that are milling around.
Yeah, the Ice Warriors.
Ice Warriors and Crow
Those two.
Centaurans with kitchen implements and Ice Warriors. One moment. Let me.
Probably also my character. I don't know the Sontaran weakness.
You know the thing that's great. All you know is that they're an incredibly militaristic race. That has probably been your most of your interactions with them.
Well, I guess Charlie is under distraction.
I'm stomping my feet, I'm waving my arms, and I'm shrieking in the most shrill Cockney accent I possibly can about how I expected better service in a place like this.
Just you wait, Henry Higgins.
Okay. So you're going to do that. So give me a presence convince roll.
All right. So for Charlie, that is a 4 and a 4, so that's another 8. So I'm kind of liking my chances here. I say, fingers crossed, yes, I got a 15.
Okay. So is there any particular is there any particular direction you want to take this rant? Are you any particular things that you're going to complain about, or are you doing general dissatisfaction with the service?
Oh, no, I'm doing the standard. I'm not actually presenting any evidence or making any good points. I'm just making vague statements about how unhappy I am.
Okay.
Are you sure Charlie isn't from 2020?
Oh, believe Victorian rich people were old-timey supervillains. Charlie has seen some stuff.
I bet.
Not wrong. Not wrong. Okay, so basically, you start off on this, and Urkel, of course, is being like, ma'am, please, we understand, but the auction hasn't even started yet. How could you be this in service? We have it, this game, you will take your seat, we will make sure that you are this game. All of the others here are also wanting to vile enemies, other things, do some distraction to try to keep us from our auction. We are going to purchase the item, and we'll be able to you will be able to we will be able to defeat all of our enemies. All of you will fall down before the might of the Emperor. Basically, the Ice Warriors are like, how dare you threaten us? The Earl is like, gentlemen, please, the ladies and other species, yes, all.
Folks,
yes, if you would like to, continue this direction. Anyone else adding to this chaos?
actually, while there is chaos occurring, I want to, whatever the 360 lens thing that I can't remember the name of.
Eagle Eye 360.
Yes, the Eagle Eye 360. I would like to use my Cyber Eye to scan and see inside it.
Okay.
So it reduces the difficulty of a roll to investigate, heal, repair something or someone by 3. So whatever the investigation roll is.
Okay, we'll do that with awareness and what's the I one? It's not ingenuity, it's sorry, the wrong character sheet.
Intuition?
Intuition. Yep.
Okay. So awareness plus intuition?
Yep.
Oh my god, I can't type. All right, so that's a 17 with a 3-point reduction to succeed,
Okay.
whatever the threshold is.
So basically, you are definitely aware of the fact that this is a ridiculously, basically investigating it. This thing is some kind of basically like pre-galactic, pre-universal artifact. Like there are not, like these things shouldn't exist. They shouldn't be possible to exist. They're like the heart of it. They're like the heart of the TARDIS. Basically, think on that level of ridiculous, basically. And if anyone possessing this could shift the balance of power in the universe for basically almost all time. Like if you decided you wanted to destroy something that existed 6 million years ago, you could. If you wanted to destroy something just next door, you could. It is ridiculously powerful.
Do we have a way to communicate with the doctor?
You haven't attempted to.
I was just, I don't remember us ever hearing if we have a way to do that.
The answer is you generally basically, it's assuming basically what time period you're from. So Charlie probably wouldn't have it. Charlie has one, but isn't quite certain what it is. But most of you have smartphones or some kind of intergalactic equivalent thereof.
Okay, well, during all this chaos, basically, from what I just learned, I will send word to the doctor that she needs to come. Help.
Okay. What are you communicating exactly?
What did you just call this? A pre-universal artifact? I'm going to say there is a pre-universal artifact of I don't know.
Immeasurable power.
Yeah, immeasurable power, and it's about to be auctioned off to the highest bidder.
Okay. All right, Chamberlain, make your attempt to remove the data thorn. So we will go ahead and say that that is coordination technology.
Why am I even looking at the 7?
I feel like there's some kind of joke attack there for just making everything sense. Okay. So this is what ends up happening. Basically you make that call in, Aiden, and basically like you send a picture, like you text the doctor, like you're texting this, you text the doctor, you send a picture of it. Basically you get the, oh, what are all of those doing there? Hang on, what? Basically you get the 3 dots, and basically like a lot of typing is happening. And basically Charlie and Trickett, you find yourself the center of a storm of activity. And basically Santarans are yelling at you for delaying the auction. The Ice Warriors are yelling at the Santarans for daring to claim that they are going to conquer the galaxies. The Kultain are just kind of screeching at everyone's things for being loud and noisy. Herblo is desperately attempting to calm everybody down and get everyone's action basically back to their seats and failing. It sounds like, from what I'm seeing, that Sam, you're going to attempt to possibly start a fight by basically smacking one of them in the back of the neck, which will, of course, immediately start off the weirdest.
I am not.
Good.
I'm not. I don't want to start a fight. I'm not a fighter here. I just wanted to inquire of Treketh.
So it's a
I'll
Tricast.
go ahead and hit him in the back of the neck.
Okay, so Tricast starts the brawl, basically, which just starts the worst episode of Kitchen Nightmares you have ever seen. It's the Great British Bake Off gone feral. And so basically kitchenwares and other things are being thrown, basically being shoved into nostrils and things like that. And basically in the middle of all of that, basically suddenly Chamberlain basically goes, there it is. and pops it off, and basically all the lights just suddenly dim. Basically, then they all basically there's this clicking sound. Basically, like, hang on, please wait. Now we're booting. And Herblo goes, no. What did you do? What did you? Oh no, what have you done? You released the secure. Basically, he starts running towards you, Chamberlain. Anyone want to attempt to interfere with that?
Can I trip him?
Sure. Give me a
If I'm
coordination.
anywhere near close, I'll try to hit him on the back of the neck as he runs by me.
Give me a coordination combat conflict.
Anything he does to me can probably be repaired. I don't care.
6.
Okay.
You tripped him good.
So basically, because of the fact that he's actually a physical manifestation of the hologram, and not because it's a high-res ultra HD hologram, you actually will manage to basically trip it on the control wand will go flying out of his hand. And basically, he kind of scrambles towards it, desperately trying to get on it. One of the Centauri will step on it, crushing it.
Oh no!
And basically, all of the drones, which have been kind of swarming just outside the door, descend in, and it's just mass chaos as all of the things get kind of teleported in and out, and they're basically shouting and basically things like that, and basically everything will eventually just kind of clear off. Basically, when you're done, basically you're left with an empty room with all of you guys remaining in it. And one of the security shoppers there, and the physical, now actual real, it takes a minute to realize it, but given the way it's squirming and basically kind of has some cuts and gashes on it, is the actual Herblo is being kind of hung from a claw on one of the security thing. And the AI will go, thank you for your assistance. Your patience during this time of conflict was appreciated. And we are glad, Duffy, that you have basically been able to say that your situation and your support call has been resolved. All individuals have been returned, have been stored in the brick safely on the site. Basically, these items will be sent back to security where they belong. Basically, you guys will hear start to hear the familiar warping sounds of the TARDIS coming in. Basically, the brick still on, as it were. Basically coming in for a landing. The doctor will kind of pop her head off. Basically, pop her head in. Basically, haircut frizzy, basically goggles up, grease smeared all over. Like, I gotta put this thing back together in a hurry. What's got this? What? What is this artifact? Hey, what are you talking about? What is this? What's going on here, fam?
Where is the artifact?
It's still in the display case. Like, all of the other ones are empty now, except that one.
So Aiden gestures to this Eagle Eye 360 thing.
She will basically she'll go, huh? Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Basically, you see her kind of stop over, pull down one set of goggles, then pull down another set of goggles on top of that one. Basically, she'll point her sonic screwdriver at it, basically, kind of look at it, says, oh, well then. Well, that's not very good at all then. Well, it seems to be the situation. It seems like you guys have a situation well in hand, though. Good on you. Glad to see it. Good to know that you guys can take care of yourself in an emergency.
Aiden's face belies how they don't understand how, but yep.
Well, basically, she looks over at the shopper and feel like, I take it you're the one in charge of all of this? I am now. Thank you. If you would like to take this item into custody, I would prefer it not be in the Herbal. Like, no, you can't do this to me. I owe debts to people. I have to sell those things. I have to. I need the money. If I don't get that money, they won't just come after me. They'll come after the people who stopped them from getting the money. That means you. Do you realize that? That means you. As he gets carried off. Oh, well, that was weird. Well, looks like you guys had a decent shopping trip. Anything else you need to pick up, or are we ready to head out?
Bit too rich for my blood, I think.
I'm more than ready.
I could see that.
Charlie, don't forget your fancy fabric.
Thanks for the reminder, and I'm gathering it up in my arms. This is going to be the greatest costume ever.
Ooh, looking forward to seeing that. Basically, and she will basically, you'll all will basically walk back into the TARDIS, and at the last thing, Sam, you're the last one in line, and basically she comes out, she says, "Oh, hey, Sam, basically this fell out of the sky, and almost basically when we were down on the plaza. So basically keep screaming your name, so I think it must belong to you." Hand you back to the AI assistant, and then walks back into the TARDIS, and that is where we will end it.
Yay! Hooray! Oh no!
That was basically that is a Dog Adventure in the second edition of Doctor Who. Hopefully you all enjoyed it, whether you were playing or listening. And so basically to give a brief recap, basically, so I would say if anyone here, basically before I do my long spiel, if anyone here has anything they want to plug, thank you all for playing. Feel free to chime in with your own personal plugs and channels and things like that. And when you're done, I'll show my stuff.
I got nothing.
Tony's a social media manager. He's awesome. He has his own Twitch channel. Occasionally. Sometimes. I think you restarted it. You restarted it, didn't you?
I'm starting it again next year.
Okay. So
Too much work to do in the mornings to be able to sip tea and talk while I'm tired.
Understandable. So come back in January or sometime. Just check that out. Of course, Martine basically has her awesome channel where she does all sorts of cool, incredible programming and design and other things. Basically, including if people are interested in Lore Lake design and things like that, if you keep watching those channels, you'll occasionally see Lore Lake things pop up on there. And 20, of course, he does amazing PUBG stuff and just some other variety stuff on the side.
I don't know about amazing, but thank you.
I am certain that basically I would not stand a chance if dropped into the middle of the PUBG wilderness with Unisky against you.
Fair.
And so basically check out her channel. I don't know if basically Luna, if you do any streaming anymore. I know you used to.
It's a goal for me. Right now, I mostly just post silly, nonsensical things, and I'm just trying to get a portfolio back together for my photography, modeling, and writing, and hopefully doing more RPG streams.
Cool. Awesome. And Ben, do you have anything you want to plug?
Not really. I don't stream. You can find my conference talks online.
What kind of conference talks? Cough, cough.
Programming.
Ben is a brilliant C++ programmer who's really contributed quite a lot to shaping the way that the language is used most efficiently. He's very well known around the conference circuit, so if you're an aspiring programmer yourself, or also if you're interested in functional programming or calendars, Ben's probably got something for you, so you should really look him up on YouTube and see what he's got going.
You have a channel link to the paper that our viewers could look up?
I don't have a channel. You can find
just
on channels and things like that,
yeah. Your blog is elbeno.com, is it not?
Yeah, but I only post that like once a year.
They're still good. Mic drop. Boom.
There you go. All right. Thank you all very much. I will go ahead and do my spiel. If you guys need to head out, feel free. But I'm going to do the closing stuff and actually talk about all the things that we do here at Lore Link. So, Lore Link is basically our DM toolkit. Basically, if you were watching during the gameplay, basically I had all of the events and things like this. This was adapted from a adventure from the second edition Doctor Who book, A Stitch in Time. It's an adventure called Everything Must Go. I took apart everything, stuck it into a timeline, linked all the events together, Basically, you put the creatures in there, so I had their stats. So basically all of that, so I could very quickly look up all the information in here, so I didn't have to flip through a PDF and scroll back and forth through various different things. I didn't have to flip between different PDFs. I do have the rules PDF open, but that's just because of the fact that we don't actually have any of the rules stuff we're working on. Basically, adding links to indexes and things like that for rules, basically rules lookups and rules notes, just to keep your life a little bit easier. So if you are interested in more like if you're watching this stream, you can find out more about it at the site that basically 20 has helpfully posted. Basically, we are just now starting our early access phase, so basically keep an eye out for that. We will basically, as we progress into the new year, we're just getting things settled with getting all of our awesome backers into our early access program. Once we're all settled with that, we'll likely start to kick off our social media presence and do more streaming and things like that, which will likely include things like giveaways of codes and things like that. So if you're interested in getting into into that early access and weren't able to back, basically keep an eye on watch these streams, either watch them live, basically keep an eye on our social media channels and things like that, which is our post Kayakams is our primary one. We also have a newsletter which comes out once a month, which I need to write before our social media manager comes after me. And basically all of that to say that basically that's an excellent way if you want to find out more information about Little Link, and possibly if you haven't backed us already, basically how to join in the early access. So all of that to say, hope you've enjoyed what you are. Basically, if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're watching this on Twitch, basically in the 1 week VOD stream, know the fact that if you're interested in our earlier adventures, they are also all on YouTube. Basically, we do this right now we're doing it once a week. That may increase, as I was saying. But all that to say, basically, if you check out our YouTube channel, you can check out our previous adventures and how planning sessions and things like that, and basically see all the things you can do with Lorelink. So all that to say, thank you all for watching. Have a happy holidays, however you celebrate, and have a basically we will catch you all later. Thank you for watching.